The Tacoma is in huge trouble. It's been dominating the market for a long time, but let's face it, in a market that is full of competition, this old-time legend needs an update. That is exactly what they did, but this time they might have made it worse. Now, don't get me wrong, Toyota makes good trucks, but the numbers don't lie, and they don't seem to be on the side of Toyota. This will have a lot of effect, not only on Toyota but on the whole market, so let's just dive right in. Recalls. In recent months, Toyota has launched a slew of substantial recalls affecting a large swathe of its vehicle lineup, all freshly off the production line by the way. It's particularly striking that these recalls have predominantly targeted body-on-frame vehicles, including the brand new Tacoma. Even the new model is currently wrestling with a significant glitch. February witnessed one of Toyota's most notable recalls in its recent narrative, with 381,000 vehicles called back due to rear axle troubles. Intriguingly, this recall impacted the preceding generation of the Tacoma, quite the twist given the looming introduction of its successor. Yet despite the buzz around the upcoming models, the sales of the older Tacoma models didn't just hold up, they flourished. Previously, customers were under the impression that all the major kinks in the earlier Tacoma iterations had been worked out, particularly as these versions neared the conclusion of their production run. However, even at this late stage, fresh problems popped up. Specifically in February, Toyota recalled 381,000 Tacomas from the 2022 and 23 batches due to a peculiar and worrying flaw. This issue wasn't tied to the engine or any software bugs, but was linked to potential failures in the rear axles. The root of the problem was inadequate welding and the accumulation of debris on the rear axle, which could cause the nuts that ensure the axle's rotation to loosen over time. This flaw could eventually lead to the detachment of parts from the axle, posing a grave risk to the vehicle's stability and braking capabilities, thereby significantly heightening the risk of accidents. Now, we can't lie, Toyota's reaction to this critical issue was both rapid and resolute. The company immediately reached out to the owners of the affected vehicles to alert them about this potential danger. Then, after a lengthy wait, Toyota kicked off a much-anticipated revamp of its body-on-frame vehicle series and totally new engines, but we need to talk about that in detail. Performance. Although it's seen a significant upgrade, one thing that has been bothering a lot of people is the engine. The thing is, most of these updates come with their own downside, and it kind of makes you question if the whole new model appeal is even worth it. Under the hood of the 2025 Toyota Tacoma, the old guard is gone, and in its place, a new engine roars to life, promising a blend of power and efficiency that sets a new standard not only for the Tacoma, but for the whole mid-size truck segment. The Tacoma's prior engine was a testament to Toyota's engineering longevity, a 3.5-liter V6 that was as dependable as the sunrise. Yet it had its foibles. Its 278 horsepower output was ample but not awe-inspiring. Also, the fuel economy, while respectable, didn't break new ground, and the engine's voice, more of a growl than a purr, could intrude upon cabin serenity and make you uncomfortable. That is why the new model comes with a turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine. At first, it's a powerhouse, orchestrating a low-end torque symphony that propels the Tacoma with newfound vigor. And power is only part of the story. The new engine sips fuel thanks to advanced engineering techniques like direct injection and variable valve timing. And the acoustics? Toyota's engineers have composed a quieter, more refined engine note that turns the Tacoma's cabin into a sanctuary of calm. Yet, for all its advancements, the new engine isn't without its compromises. The turbocharger, while amazing for power, introduces a momentary pause, and the engine's preference for premium fuel means that while you may visit the pump less often, each trip will be a tad more costly. The other thing is that turbochargers add weight. There's no escaping physics. And weight distribution matters in a truck. The Tacoma's engineers had to find the Goldilocks zone, enough power without compromising handling. It's like balancing a tray of delicate desserts. Too much weight on one side and the whole thing topples. Plus, turbochargers are intricate beasts. Sure, the advancements in torque and efficiency are impressive, but they come with a cost. More parts, more complexity, it's a recipe for potential problems. With this new upgrade, there are more things that can go wrong. So, what's the solution? Well, you just need to trust Toyota's engineers. They fine-tuned this system, stress-tested it, or at least that's what people expected. But the truth has more layers than that. Let me explain. Platform upgrades. We're talking about the infamous TNGAF platform. Did you know the major overhaul touched several flagship models like the Tundra, Sequoia, and LX600, each receiving impressive upgrades that boosted their performance, fuel economy, and all-round elegance. While these models were generally celebrated for their significant improvements, they weren't without their challenges. Indeed, Toyota found itself in the midst of a massive recall involving over 280,000 vehicles based on the newer TNGAF platform. Why, you ask? Well, there was a serious glitch in the transmission design that could cause the vehicles to creep forward unexpectedly, even while in neutral. This problem occurred because central transmission components failed to disengage, unwittingly transferring power to the wheels and greatly escalating the risk of accidents. The models caught up in this recall were none other than the Tundra and the plush Lexus LX600 for the 2022-24 model years, alongside the Sequoia for the 2023-24. Although Toyota hasn't pinpointed which transmission part was the culprit, industry insiders strongly believe it's a software glitch at the heart of the issue, not a mechanical one. This theory is further compounded by worries surrounding the new Tacoma model, which shares a similar software setup. Despite the Tacoma sporting an 8-speed automatic transmission, unlike the 10-speed used in the recalled models, the common software might just pave the way for the same kind of problems. So now, let me ask you, can you just trust their reputation? Can Toyota still wear the crown as the globe's most reliable automaker? And it's not just the new models feeling the heat, even the previous generation of the trusted Tacoma wasn't immune to gearbox woes. Originally, these models faced issues mainly with the 6-speed transmission, particularly during gear shifts from park to reverse or drive. This resulted in slow responses and jarring sudden shifts. Although Toyota's engineers managed to rectify these early snags, they never quite solved the transmission's frequent gear hunting, which was supposedly meant to enhance fuel efficiency. Unfortunately, this compromise took a toll on the driving experience, turning what should be a smooth ride into a somewhat bothersome ordeal, especially for those who prize seamless gear changes. And let's be honest, who doesn't? New concepts. Toyota's expansion of its vehicle lineup saw a daring move with the introduction of a hybrid version of the Tundra, signaling a departure from the conventional hybrid powertrains synonymous with the brand. This new iteration of the hybrid system introduces a level of sophistication previously unseen, boasting turbocharged engines and a multitude of components, distinguishing it from the simpler setups found in models like the Prius. Now, this might seem like a subjective matter, but I'll only talk about the facts, so watch carefully. Remember what happened with the Tundra 2 years ago, coinciding with a comprehensive redesign that included an entirely overhauled infotainment system? The initial excitement surrounding the Tundra's expansive 14-inch screen hinted at a new era of in-car entertainment. However, the initial euphoria was short-lived, as users began to encounter the first signs of trouble. Various connectivity hiccups surfaced, particularly concerning smartphone integration services like Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Users grapple with issues related to voice commands, finding it cumbersome or even impossible to initiate phone calls through this medium. Adding to the complexity, the voice control feature fell short when it came to adjusting climate settings, leaving drivers to resort to manual interventions. The infotainment system showcased an array of glitches and bugs, ranging from erratic behavior to sporadic reboots, casting a shadow over what was otherwise a promising driving experience. Toyota's foray into hybrid technology with the Tundra has introduced a new level of complexity, challenging the brand's reputation for simplicity and reliability. Which seems good, but not all that glitters is gold, and some updates, while shiny, may not shine as bright in practicality. New challenges. The new Tacoma boasts a 14-inch center touchscreen, dwarfing the old 8-inch display. It's like swapping a pocket calculator for a supercomputer. But ask yourself, do we need such a mammoth screen in a truck that's meant to get dirty? It's a dazzling feature, but one that might overwhelm rather than assist. And despite strides forward, murmurs of discontent echo concerning the display's sporadic blackout episodes mid-drive, miraculously rekindling upon shifting into park mode. Furthermore, the digital instrument cluster has not escaped unscathed, with reports of glitches marring its functionality, notably impacting the placement and performance of the tire pressure monitor. You see, people love the simplicity of this truck, but with all its features, don't we lose the raw, hands-on thrill of trucks? And also, this means repair costs will be high. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, so let's move on. Design flaws. This truck has always been a head-turner on the road, thanks to its bold lines and rugged stance. The latest model keeps the tradition alive with a fresh set of aesthetic updates that are bound to catch your eye. But hey, let's dive into some design choices that might make you raise an eyebrow or two, or even leave you scratching your head. Let's talk about tailgate functionality. Gaze upon the Tacoma's cargo bed, a realm of versatility with a few caveats. Crafted from a composite material, it boasts lightness and rust resistance, a commendable feat indeed. Yet beware of its vulnerability to scratches and dents, particularly under the weight of hefty or sharp cargo. And also that the bed's dimensions may pose a challenge for larger loads, lacking a spaciousness of some rivals. For those regularly transporting bulky gear or construction materials, this might prove somewhat limiting. Delve into the Tacoma's payload prowess, a tale of choices. Opting for off-road centering models like the TRD Pro entails sacrifices in payload capacity owing to added amenities such as skid plates, rugged suspension, and beefier tires. For contractors or frequent haulers of hefty cargo, exploring alternatives boasting higher payload ratings is paramount. But that's not all. Step inside Tacoma's cabin, where improvements abound yet some shadows linger. While strides have been made in recent years, it trails behind competitors in comfort and modern flair. Hard plastics dominate, lacking the finesse found in the likes of the Ford Ranger or the Chevrolet Silverado. And let's not forget the rear doors of the double-cab Tacoma, a tale of accessibility woes. The limited opening angle poses a hurdle for loading passengers or bulky items. Meanwhile, competitors like the Nissan Frontier or the Honda Ridgeline solve that issue. But let's talk about the main thing the Tacoma is known and loved for: off-road chops. The Toyota Tacoma has certainly earned its stripes as an off-road champion, but how does it stack up when pitched against some of its biggest rivals? For starters, the Tacoma suspension system is a marvel in itself, striking a balance between off-road ruggedness and on-road comfort. However, place it side by side with the Ford Ranger's optional state-of-the-art Fox Racing Shock, and you might find the Tacoma's setup falling short in terms of cutting-edge technology. On more challenging terrain, this difference could become quite obvious. And ground clearance is another make-or-break factor for any off-road beast. While the Tacoma stands tall on many trails, it doesn't quite reach the heights of the likes of the Jeep Gladiator or even the Land Rover Defender when it comes to approach and departure angles crucial for tackling steep terrain. The Tacoma shows up with respectable figures here, but they pale in comparison to the Land Rover Defender. The Defender smoothly handles inclines and declines, making it seem almost effortless. Additionally, the Tacoma offers a rear locking differential, which is pretty handy in slippery conditions. But then you have the Chevrolet Colorado ZR2, raising the stakes with both front and rear electronic locking differentials. This feature gives it unstoppable grip, ensuring all four wheels stay grounded no matter what. And when it comes to wheels and tires, the Tacoma is built for moderate off-roading, yet it's hard to ignore the Ram 1500 TRX with its monstrous tires designed for extreme adventures. These beefy tires offer unparalleled traction and durability. But that's not all. Suspension articulation is the secret ingredient for traversing rough and uneven terrain. The Tacoma does a commendable job here, but again, the spotlight is stolen by the Chevrolet Silverado ZR2. Its Multimatic DSSV dampers deliver outstanding wheel travel and articulation, promising an unbelievably smooth ride on the roughest trails. I went through all the list of goodies to show how the Tacoma is almost never leading in terms of one specific feature. And yes, I know the Tacoma has unparalleled reliability and durability, boosting resale value, but knowing what we know now, should that really be an excuse? The only thing the new models have are air suspension seats, which, by the way, is such an overkill, right? Who asked for that? In my opinion, it's a useless feature that makes the truck get away with adding zeros to the price. If you're a fan of that thing, prove me wrong. But now let's talk about another crucial thing: towing and payload. When it comes to towing capacity, the 2023 Toyota Tacoma boasts a versatile range from 3,500 pounds to 6,800 pounds. It also offers a payload range of 1,095 to 1,685 pounds, making it adaptable for carrying anything from tools to outdoor gear. This flexibility caters to a wide array of towing needs, from small trailers to substantial loads like boats or campers. It surpasses the Nissan Frontier and Honda Ridgeline in towing capacity. However, it lags behind the Chevrolet Colorado, GMC Canyon, Ford Ranger, and Jeep Gladiator. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: price and competition. With its upgraded lineup and enhanced features, the Tacoma aims to win over both hearts. But let's break down its pricing, features, and how it stacks up against the competition to see if it really delivers on value. Starting at a very reasonable $32,995, the base model of the 2024 Toyota Tacoma is packed with standards. But if you're craving luxury and high-end options, you could push the price up to $53,595, which is somewhat close to its main rival, the Ford Ranger. But the Ranger is back with a vengeance, flaunting impressive towing capacity for heavy-duty tasks and a tech-savvy interior that rivals industry leaders. With a price tag of around $34,315, the Ranger aims to strike a balance between functionality and modern conveniences. For a long time, the Ranger's excellent towing and tech features were overshadowed by the Tacoma's steadfast reliability and top-notch off-road performance. But will that be the case in today's market? But that is not all. Did you know that the Chevrolet Colorado and GMC Canyon received major overhauls in 2023, addressing past issues and upping their game? Starting at around $31,095, these trucks are solid choices for those in the market for mid-size pickups. These models offer a balanced mix of capability and comfort, making them versatile options for various needs. The new Tacoma introduces a redesigned, more comfortable, and modernized interior that we've already talked about. But the interesting thing is that Toyota's reputation for reliability and longevity continues to draw buyers in. The Tacoma's previous strong resale value and relatively low long-term ownership costs make it a trusted investment for both short-term enjoyment and long-term practicality. But again, as we've already talked about, that is not the case any longer. And this might not be such a bad thing, because now we've started to see things exactly how they are. And let me tell you, one truck that's been gaining attention while all of this is happening: the Honda Ridgeline. The 2024 Ridgeline is a standout with its car-like ride, roomy interior, and cutting-edge features. Starting at around $33,700, it appeals to those who prioritize comfort, versatility, and daily practicality over rugged performance. Its smooth driving, spacious cabins, and innovative features like an in-bed audio system and dual-action tailgate are what you're after, the Ridgeline is a true game-changer in redefining the pickup truck experience. It presents a compelling alternative to traditional truck designs. Then there is the Jeep Gladiator, which blends Jeep's legendary off-road capability with the practicality of a pickup truck, starting at a hefty $57,215 for the rugged Rubicon trim. It's positioned as a premium market choice. While its price might make you think twice, the Gladiator's unique style, open-air driving experience, and off-road focus deeply resonate with adventure seekers and Jeep aficionados. It's made for those who savor both the journey and the destination, which is somewhere around the premium Tacoma trims. So if you're looking for the off-road capabilities of the likes of the TRD Pro and Trail Hunter, then you should consider the Gladiator. What's your take on this? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.